on the investor mindset, we talk about there's really three pieces to money. You got to know how to make money, you got to know how to multiply money, and you got to know how to manage money. And a lot of people screw up. They start trying to manage money and they are trying to save a buck at Starbucks, but they're making 40 grand a year. They're doing it in the wrong order, right? And what you're talking about here is a phenomenal example of how to make more money. This is the business entrepreneur angle of, hey, let me find a problem that's in the market. Let me find one that has a huge addressable market. And then let me figure out, hey, how can I get this new product out to the world? And so as a listener, when you're hearing this, you can think to yourself, hey, how can I apply this to go and focus on making money so that I can be active, running a business, maybe getting out of what you're doing, maybe solving the problem of surviving, which you were in. You had a no option but figure this out type of mentality. I also lived in and grew up in a similar place, or put myself in that kind of a place. But from that place, you can figure out almost anything. And you did, and you made a bucket load of money doing it.
Yeah, that's true. We made close to $1 billion gross revenue. Now, here's the interesting thing. Most people believe the line that they've been fed. The big companies, the corporations, the education system, the government, your parents, everybody wants you to believe that if you just play by the rules, you do what you're told, that at the end of the day, you will have, and I hate this word, security.
Yeah.
The fact is, there's 7-8 billion other people in the world. And sadly, not everybody is going to have that security. So what does that build? It builds competition. Not only that, unfair competition. So who rises to the top? Those with an unfair advantage. And so I learned early, if I wanted to be successful, I had to figure out a way to have an unfair advantage to excel. But with that said, I teach people that if you play by the rules, you play by the rules of these mega corporations and what they tell you, and you watch the videos that they give you, it's not going to help you. It's going to help you maintain their bottom line and their status quo. The guys that I know that are making 7, 8 figures, 9-figure exits, selling their companies after 2 years, building up supplement companies, building up natural products companies, building up home, healthcare, whatever companies, home goods companies on these platforms are guys that aren't playing by the rules. So what I realized early on is that, hey, I got to do something that the other guys aren't doing. I got to bring some extra value, and I've got to create multiple streams of income so that if anything happens to one of them, I can still thrive with the other ones. And that's worked very well for me in the past, 30 plus years I've been doing business.
And that gives you so much power, because by having that diversification, you can be in a much stronger place. If one of your businesses no longer is creating that kind of income, or one of your investment streams is no longer producing, you have other ones that you're being able to be supported by. So let's shift gears here. One of the things that we talk about a lot is we define financial independence as the moment that your passive income number reaches your target. And the most simple target for most people is their passive income is twice as much as their expenses. So they have more than they need, and that money can keep compounding. So from that perspective and that definition, as a business owner, I can imagine you found yourself in this place. When did you realize that you had made it and that you were truly financially independent, that that passive income that you had invested has finally hit that point where you're set and everything you need is covered?
Yeah, probably when I had $1 million in the bank, right? But it went fast for me during my youth. And I'll tell you, by the way, again, anyone that's interested, it's Billion, How I Became King of the Throw Pill Cult. I got to plug the book. So anybody who wants to check it out, check it out. We just launched the audiobook, so people love that. And I tell this story. So I was sitting in my office. I was in my late teens, maybe 18, 19. And my dog at the time knocks over a pile of papers. Now, what I had done is I realized thank you, Elon Musk. I realized my employees, which I had 200 of at the time, had gotten too comfortable. Everybody was too comfortable with all the nicenesses of the office. And believe me, it was nowhere Web 2.0, 3.0, Google offices. We had just a normal office. So I hired a team of movers to come in at night, and they took out every stick of furniture, every desk. I said, you guys are going to be standing. You guys are going to be producing. And the guy's like, what do you want to do with the water coolers? I said, they're yours. Take them. There's no time for water. There's no time for coffee. Take out the coffee machines. All right. We're going to succeed. And that's what we're about, because there started to be a lot of companies that were competing against us. And my team had gotten complacent. They had gotten too comfortable. And I remember sitting in my office, and I was the only one with a chair. I had these French lotus chairs that I had made for me in France, and they were beautiful, right? And I was making millions of dollars. And so I was sitting in this beautiful, like rattan low chair, and my dog ran into the room and knocked down a pile of papers. And I remember looking into this pile, and there was a check that there was a pile of stuff. There was like checks, there was like letters that I haven't opened. I mean, everything was everywhere. I was so busy during this time. And I picked up this one check, and I looked at it, and it was a check for $1 million from a Japanese vendor. And I looked at it and I said, and I just put it back in the tray, and I went back to doing whatever I was doing. And I realized at that time that $1 million, $1,090,000 was so insignificant to me that I was like, I must have really made it, because a year or two back, like I would have been happy for $100. I didn't have $100 to go out there and buy a veggie burrito or whatever it was I ate at the time.
Yeah.
And now I just picked up a pile with $1 million check, and I put it in the maybe later category of like
it's an incredible place to be, to have a business that's creating that kind of income that you're thinking to yourself, I'm not even focused on this because I'm already there. But I want to shift shift the focus here a little bit, because what you're talking about and what you keep focusing on is active income. You got people, you're grinding, you're busting your butt, they're working for you. You're thinking as a business owner. Let's say you get hit by a bus, you're alive, you're in the hospital, you got a wife and kids, your businesses are no longer producing money. What was the point where you hit, where those investments that you've made, whatever they might be, had gotten you to that point where man, everyone that I love is taken care of, even if my business is dissolved today? Have you hit that point?
Yeah, I have. And I've actually done that many times in my life. And it was, I think the first time I hit that point was when I made my first $1 million. And it was the first like real time where I was like, man, if this payment comes through, I'll have $1 million in the bank, free and clear, like taxes paid, it's $1 million. And the money came in.
What did you invest that money into? Because having it in the bank is not producing income, right? It's not passive. But what did that go into? Were you a stock guy? Was it these condos and real estate you're talking about? Like, what was that thing that you started pumping money into that said, you know what? It's not going all into the business. It's going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to somehow get a benefit from that.
More businesses. So I always believe that first and foremost, the highest value that you're going to receive for your money is going to be investing in your own business, assuming you've got a profitable business. So if I could take that $1 million and turn my revenue from $1 million a year to $2 million a year, or $3 million a year, or $4 million a year, I'm going to do that.
Today's episode is sponsored by Von Finch Capital. If you're interested in investing alongside me in the same type of real estate opportunities that I personally invest in, then head over to Von Finch Capital and join their private investor network. You can do so at vonfinch.com/invest. Join me on that next deal, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Thank you for listening to the Investor Mindset Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. Head over to theinvestormindset.com to join the Insider Club, where we share tools and strategies from the top investors and entrepreneurs on how to take it to the next level.